I still wake up in cold sweats thinking about what happened in that apartment on Pine Street. I was 23, fresh out of college, and desperate for cheap rent in the city. The landlord barely looked at me when he handed over the keys, just mumbled something about the previous tenant leaving suddenly. The apartment was perfect, too perfect for the price. Hardwood floors, high ceilings, and these beautiful old walls that seemed to whisper stories of decades past. For the first week, everything was normal. I unpacked my boxes, set up my desk by the window, and started my new job downtown. But then I began hearing my name being called through the walls. At first, I thought it was neighbors, maybe someone with the same name. But it was always at 3:17 a.m., always the same voice, always coming from inside the walls themselves. I pressed my ear against the plaster and heard scratching, like fingernails dragging across wood. The whispers grew louder each night. They knew things about me, personal things I had never told anyone. They knew about my childhood fear of the dark, about the scar on my knee from when I was 7, about the recurring nightmare I had been having since my grandmother died. I tried to ignore it, convinced myself I was just stressed from the move, but then I found the journal hidden behind a loose floorboard under my bed. Pages and pages of handwriting, all in different styles, all describing the same thing. The voices in the walls. The previous tenants had all heard them too. The last entry was dated just 3 days before I moved in. It simply said, "They want me to join them. I can see the door now. There's an opening in the wall behind my bed." I ran to my bedroom and there it was, a crack in the wall that definitely was not there before, and it was growing. As I watched, frozen in terror, the crack widened into a doorway, and I could see eyes staring back at me from the darkness beyond. The whispers became screams, calling my name, begging me to come home. I grabbed my keys and ran, never looking back. I found out later that the building had been a psychiatric hospital in the 1940s, and that over 30 patients had died in the walls during a fire, trapped and forgotten. The landlord still calls me sometimes, asking when I'm coming back for my things. But I know the truth now. Those things in my apartment, they are not mine anymore. They belong to the voices in the walls, and someday, when someone else is desperate enough for cheap rent, they will call out a new name at 3:17 a.m.